Hello everyone, Musto0063 back to continue on with Mega Man 6. And we've cleared off all the Robot Masters, so that means it's time to take on Mr. X's Fortress. And I should warn you in advance that Mega Man 6 is probably the set of fortress stages, or has the set of fortress stages that I know the least well. So, I could have done a much better job with these, but hey ho, I'm sure you'll enjoy seeing all the disastrous failure. Not so much in the first two levels, I will admit, so yay for some decent progress the first couple of screens. As usual with all fortress stages, we tend to start outside the fortress and work our way in. So we're starting off with some of those cannon enemies, so stand back, wait for them to open up their little hatches and shoot away. And now we're sort of climbing the tower, if you will. So you're going to be using Jet Mega Man and indeed Power Mega Man quite a bit. So certainly for this bit, you need to use Jet Mega Man. Be very careful with that jump. You don't want to set off too high, and equally you don't want to set off too late because you'll either fall on the spikes below you or indeed whack the spikes above your head. So yeah, just be careful with that jump. Here you actually have a choice, and I'll be showing off the other branching path in a moment. But for now, let's take the upper path. And if it hasn't been obvious already, we have these damn caterpillar enemies with on the upper route, and I hate them. But fortunately, the use of the jet adapter and the fact that they are kind of a bit far away can make things a little bit easier. This screen, I find, if you just rush it, you should be kind of fine. There's an awkward set of spikes there on the left-hand side before you get to the ladder, and if you dilly-dally, then you're likely to get stuffed one way or another. But if you rush, then you tend to be okay. And sigh, I've already lost one life. And there goes another one. Double sigh. Now for this screen you might as well keep your jet adapter on because you're going to need it. So as you can see here, these ledges are all way too high for you to reach with the Mega Man. So actually we have some intimidating Skullwalker enemies. Case in point, one just hit me. I got hit by a Skullwalker, yes. That really just did happen. Ultimately, the section's not too bad, and I suppose for a little bits as well, you could also use Power Mega Man if you'd rather break open the blocks. I don't believe you get anything for doing so, so ultimately I would just rather keep Jet Mega Man on and continue on through that way. So that is the end of the level, and that's indeed where the branching paths meet up. So let's backtrack and go the other way. And this is the path I would take 99% of the time. Not least it involves bypassing a lot of the caterpillars. You do need to be a bit careful with this little platform area there, but if you pull it off like that, you avoid having to pull off an annoying jump at the end with the low-hanging ceilings. But yeah, get out Power Mega Man, go through the or ride the platforms in that fashion, and you should be fine. So yeah, this path avoids all the caterpillars, and to me, it's just a lot safer. Yes, there are still spikes lying around, but you're far less likely to fall on them. We have just have these little grasshopper enemies we saw in plant stage to deal with, and the absolute best bonus for going this way is right at the end, so I think we're coming up to that now. I've kept Power Mega Man on just because I thought that I did need to use it again, so yeah, rather than change. Here we go, break open this block, and your eyes and ears do not deceive you. 4 extra lives. Wow. So yeah, that's where the paths met up, so it's time for the first boss of the X stage. And I went in with charged Mega Buster shots. These things are round 2, and basically they just kind of roll around on these tracks. After a certain point in time, they will reverse their directions and go the other way, and you need to keep an eye on, obviously, making sure they don't career into you, but making sure you kind of stay not under them for too long a period so they don't drop anything on you. I say ultimately I stuck with kind of charge shots here. They are weak to both Flame Blast and Plant Barrier, so yeah, a useful use for Plant Barrier. So that's probably a very good one to use actually, because all you need to do is dance around in the middle, and the Plant Barrier will probably just whack into them when they're rolling around on the tracks. So yeah, Plant Barrier would actually be a decent choice, and Flame Blast would also do a fairly good job as well. Fortress Stage 2, and this one is very short, and it's mainly full of mechs and pits to avoid. So here's a demonstration. When you see the yellow and black kind of striped areas underneath, that means that the floor, or there isn't any floor there in fact, and that you will fall down. So I demonstrated it there because I don't really want to demonstrate it later. as you'll see, I would indeed fall right into a pit that would take me an awful long time to get out of, or indeed in later areas into pits or areas with spikes, resulting in instantaneous death. So one thing I do find, as you probably noticed already, is that Mega Man 6 really likes you to use the Power Mega Man and Jet adapters over and over again, particularly the Jet adapter. You really would struggle to get by without that. Oh, and here we can see the area that I was talking about earlier. Yellow and black stripes. Not so critical there. You just fall into a pit and have to jet out. But yeah, you definitely don't want to fall through that area. Spikes below, instantaneous death. And do be careful for the Mets just kind of immediately beforehand as well. And if they do hit you, they're likely to send you back and away from the pit. But you need to just be a little bit careful in triggering them out. So another slightly awkwardly placed Skull Walker. You have to kind of wait for it to finish jumping and then jump over it and shoot it again. The other Skull Walkers you can either kind of shoot through the wall or just normally, so they're not too much of an issue. And generally in that last little area there, I like to kind of jump up and shoot at the highest I can to get rid of that enemy that's kind of dropping stuff from above. Not too dangerous because it only drops things very slowly and it's very easy to predict where they're going to glow. But ultimately, why not take the risk? Shoot it when you can. And we just had a little pathway full of mechs there at the end. And that brings us to our second boss. And I love sliding through the gates without actually the slide animation. It makes it look really cool. So this thing is bloody annoying. You basically want to stand on the left-hand side of the screen, if you can, because the rocks from above will not hit you, and sort of tomahawk the thing. Now I had a ridiculously lucky fight here from the point of view that it actually stayed up near the top of the screen. And by staying up near the top of the screen, it actually meant that the Silver Tomahawk hits it a lot easier. It's called a power piston, by the way. But if it stays kind of like down on the bottom right, then the Silver Tomahawk, the way it arcs, is not going to hit it. So, yeah, you either kind of have to venture over to the right, which lends itself to being more vulnerable to the pellet shot attack, or indeed the rocks. So, yeah, ultimately the best thing to do would be to stay over to the left-hand side of the screen, where the rocks are out of range, but then you're kind of relying on it, the power piston being up at the top of the screen. But I had a pretty lucky run there, I'm not going to deny. Now I've kind of talked all the way over the beginning of stage 4 to stage 3, but that's because I knew that I was going to be wasting a little bit of time at the beginning. I don't really know why I went to get the energy tank, but there you go. If you take the left path from the opening screen, or as you can see the two ladders in the choice, you will reach a dead end, but you do get an energy tank. But since I really don't feel I need it, it was a bit of a wasted journey, frankly. And also here, not that it also actually ended up saving me all that much time, but I thought I'd get a little bit kind of frustrated with the length of time that this would take me to Mega Buster, and I didn't want to risk getting got at this point in time by jetting up already. So I busted out Silver Tomahawk and take out this Ben K this way. But it's still a bit of a slow process because it's very difficult to hit when it's still twirling that stick at you. So I didn't want to waste all my Tomahawk, so yeah. Bit of a slow venture beginning into stage 3. But jet up once it's obviously killed, and finally we can kind of make some decent progress. I would suggest hiding on the ladder there for those bits where the 3 sets of fire tellys come across. As it so happens there I didn't need to because none of them actually shot above the ladder, but they could easily have done, and yeah, I would recommend just waiting below the ladder, or below the height of the ledge or on the ladder until all 3 have passed safely over your head. We now have these sets of platforms that we saw in Tomahawk stage, so you stand on one and the equivalent one on the other side of the track goes down. So yeah, plan your times. Another life that went down the pit. Damn it! So yeah, plan your movements for how high or low you think you're going to need the platforms to be before you are able to make the extra platforms. And a really clumsy hit. But I hate the fire tellys in this area. If they go down like that one did there, then you've got a slightly better chance of hitting them. But yeah, when they're right at the top and they're out of reach, you just know that 99% of the time they're going to screw you over by firing right over your head, just when you don't want to. Or even more annoyingly, they'll drop the fire where you've moved to because you've anticipated they would drop it over you. So you've tried to dodge it, but you'll still end up getting screwed. As I do quite a lot in this section, thanks to the fire tellys and this stupid puka. And you'll also notice, rather annoyingly, that when you get hit when you're charging your Mega Buster shot, the charge goes away. So every time I was having to get by that puka section and I got hit, my charge went away and I had to recharge it in order to get through. So getting hit twice in that area was bloody annoying, I tell you. Set of branching paths here, but I don't believe there's ultimately all that much gain to be had by going down the bottom. There might be something in this block, possibly an extra life or an energy tank, I can't remember, but ultimately, I certainly don't need it, so I'll just go the route that doesn't require me to waste a whole bunch of time by breaking block after block after block. Section here with the jet adapter that you need. So yeah, you can't quite make that platform. And we'll still need kind of use, I think, at least of the jet adapter, or certainly maybe the power adapter. Actually, we will need one or either of them, so yeah, we will have that coming up. Another puka section. This bit goes a bit more nicer, which is good. And yeah, this is a section again where you've got the choice. So you can either go take the route down the bottom and use jet adapter, but I prefer to, not least because I actually get some health back here, use a power adapter, break the block, and go up on the upper route. It's a safer option as well. You're not kind of mucking around over pits or anything like that as well. So yeah, ultimately your choice, but yeah, I would take the power adapter choice where all things equal. And I hate this little section here, particularly with that puka right on the edge of the platform, so I decide, hey, screw it, I'm not going to bother doing any precision platforming, I'm just going to jet over the thing. But yeah, if you do watch out, that puka is obviously in a very annoying position to hit, or in fact you really can't hit it with charged Mega Buster shots unless you are kind of like right on the left hand edge of it, but yeah, anyway, jetting over it seems like a really good idea. Third boss, this is Matonga Z, and I hate this thing because I can never really adequately predict the placement of particularly the bouncing projectile shots. Trying to jump over them is not a good idea, but yeah, the bouncing ones, not when the floor is kind of retracting back and forth, but I find for some reason that there just doesn't seem to be quite enough room. Again, I'm doing a terrible job there by for some stupid reason actually trying to jump over them. That's completely the wrong thing to do. You want to kind of stand on the floor and kind of stand under them while they bounce over you, but with the floor going left and right, it's really, really irritating. So actually for that one, I decided to pull out the Blizzard weapon. I can't remember what exactly it's called at the moment. Apologies, but yeah, Blizzard Man's weapon, whatever the hell it's called, does rather nice damage to it. Blizzard attack. There you go. And there's me proving that the energy balancer is something that I don't quite appreciate all that much, because I switched there to refill my Blizzard attack, and of course the energy balancer would have done that for me anyway, because it was the weapon with the least amount of energy. So yeah, I appreciate the energy balancer, but ultimately a lot of the time I end up just choosing the weapon that I want to fill up anyway. So here we are with possibly the last stage of the game, stage 4 of Mr. X's Fortress. For this little section here, go through the top path, or slide through the top path. Obviously, you could switch ones going through to the jet adapter. You can't slide with the jet adapter on, but yeah, you could do that if you wanted to, but ultimately the top area of that bit is the easiest way to go through. This section, and indeed this whole stage, is one I particularly hate. So you'll see me getting hit multiple times. I end up actually choosing a different weapon here, which is very, very odd for me. I wouldn't normally do this, but I chose Windstorm here, and you can see actually when you hit enemies, or certain enemies a certain number of times, it actually propels them off screen. And it's quite nice and quite useful in this area. But yeah, that's how much I hate this stage actually. The fact that I would actually pull out a weapon for the main playthrough, because you've seen me go through pretty much all the rest of almost anything by not resorting to it. It's not generally the way I like to play, but yeah, that's how much I hate this stage. I also got hit sufficiently enough that I felt the need to actually get out Power Mega Man, break the block, and get some health back. So yay. Some shield attackers here. The bottom one will go as far to the left as the ladder, so make sure you backtrack down the ladder so you don't get smacked by it, and then take it out. So, we have branching paths here, so I'm going to show off the top path first. So for that you need to get out Jet Mega Man and climb the ladder. You'll also now, again, as you can see here, need either Jet or Power Mega Man to get past this block. So again, you could use Power Mega Man to break the block, but I don't think there's anything in it, so I just thought, well, since I'm already in Jet form, why not keep that on? So in this area we have these enemies that kind of crawl on the ceiling and drop down that we saw in Night stage, possibly some other ones, but Night will do. And yeah, for some of them you might as well just wait for them to explode before taking a hit. Obviously if you've got out a weapon, then you could shoot downwards and kill it, but since I'm sticking with the Mega Buster only here, then yeah, I might as well just wait for the damn things to explode and then move on safely without taking any damage. As you just saw, there is an extra life for taking this path, so yeah, if you want an additional life, then you can go that way. So that was the end of the branching path. So here we are back on the path that doesn't actually require you to use any adapters or anything. So yeah, if I was trying to perfectly run this stage, I'd have to go this way. And well, anyway, it's not really any easier or more difficult than the other path. So yeah, you don't get the extra life for it. But as you can see here, we've got. As I nearly die there, I forgot that happened. As I say, this was an easy path. Yeah, you just got the yellow enemies from Tomahawk stage, but yeah, ultimately, despite my clumsiness, that section really isn't too bad. I wish I could say the same for this bit. So I kind of glossed over a little bit what was kind of going on in the earlier area where we had these kind of birds and cannons, but yeah, I really hate this section. These beat clones, if you will, come out of these pipes, and when they get to a certain height or when they break apart from their shells or whatever, they all of a sudden decide to charge at you. They're really annoying. The cannon enemies also make this section really fraught and hectic, and yeah, ultimately I could stick around and try and kill everything, but ultimately I just figure I'll equip the jet adapter, I can save myself if I get hit and fall into pits, and I'll just do it that way. I hate that section so much, I don't even really want to try getting through it normally. Oh my god, it's possibly the final boss in this game. And oh my god, how flippin' easy is this. Just stay to the left, jump over the shots that go along the ground, and whack him. And that's pretty much all there is to it. So as you can see here again, I'm going with charge shot, but you could get out flame blast. That's actually its weakness, and it does a fine job. But yeah, X Crusher, you're absolutely nothing. My scheme for world domination has failed. At least you spelled failed correctly. That was wrong in the NES version, by the way. But I still have enough power to destroy you. What? Yeah, Mr. X was Dr. Wily all along. Who didn't see that coming? And indeed, the final battle will begin next time. Cheerio.